Hey, what's up YouTube? This video is going to go on the prepping playlist. I do my prepping videos a little bit differently. I talk about great ways not to get killed. Let's talk about how not to get killed by the SWAT team. There was a man named Craig Robertson who is no longer alive. Now I want to start off by saying, he was a gun owner. I am a gun owner. I've been a gun owner since I was 18. My dad's a gun owner. He's a Vietnam veteran. He shot many, many guns out in the jungles of Vietnam. But be that as it may, I really cannot support or sign off on the behavior of this guy. That is Craig Robertson from 2018 body cam footage. Game over, dude. He made some very poor choices. Don't go out the way this guy did. He posted this on his Facebook. Okay, tip number 1, I would say don't weigh your rifle down with 10 pounds of gadgets and gizmos. Okay, the police released some body cam footage when they had a talk with him in 2018. Let's watch that footage, and I'm going to repeat it a few times so that you can hear what he said.
Just make sure I can see both your hands the whole time, since I don't want to worry about you drawing any firearms, okay?
Listen, if I want to take you out, I got an M24 sniper rifle there. You'd have never made it here.
Okay, that's probably not a good thing to say to us.
No, I'm just telling you. Listen, if I want to take you out, I got an M24 sniper rifle there. You'd have never made it here.
Okay, that's probably not a good thing to say to us.
No, I'm just telling you. Listen, if I want to take you out, I got an M24 sniper rifle there. You'd have never made it here.
Okay, that's probably not a good thing to say to us.
No, I'm just telling you.
And here is a picture of him that he posted on his social media posing with his sniper rifle. All right, tip number 2, how not to die. This person looks like he's about 370 pounds. This person was pushing 400 pounds, and in this picture, he was 70 years old. If he hadn't been killed, he would have certainly died of the number 1 killer in America, which is heart disease. All right, here's a little more craziness. So after he bragged about that he could take him out with his sniper rifle, he tells the police that their only chance would be sending a SWAT unit. Okay, not a good idea to dare the police to send the SWAT team. More postings on social media. He brags about his suppressed 9mm, and he says he's going to put a hole into someone who was a lawyer that he was threatening. And just more threatening of law enforcement. He says he has a loaded gun for when they drop by next time. Okay, this is not a way to live a long, happy life. Yeah, what was wrong with this person? Well, I actually have a degree in psychology. I can shed a little light on what was wrong with this person. This person most likely had frontal lobe damage. You see from that graphic there. He has all the symptoms of frontal lobe damage. His judgment was impaired. His decision-making was impaired. He had poor impulse control. His social behavior was antisocial. He was learning impaired because the cops had already visited him. And most people would keep a low profile after that. He did the opposite. Poor planning, no motivation. You could tell by the size that he was. I mean, what do you think he was eating to get to the size that he was and the state of health that he was in? What do you think he was eating? Wall-to-wall crap? Yeah. Do you think filling your body with total crap is good for your brain? Do you think that makes your brain work better as you age? So I'm going to explain why I have a picture of Paula Deen here. One thing that did stand out to me is that this guy was exhibiting behaviors that were more commonly seen in women and sometimes in children. For example, he constantly needed to be the center of attention, and he tried to achieve his attention needs by talking in a certain way and by dressing in a certain way, rather than taking action. He was no longer a man of action. Another very interesting symptom is that he was overly verbal. It reminded me a lot of Paula Deen. If you've ever seen her TV shows, you know she has a motor mouth, and this guy had that same motor mouth feature that he was performing more like an old bird than a dude. Another feminized symptom that he exhibited was being passive-aggressive instead of just outright aggressive, right? He didn't shove the cops, he didn't push the cops, he didn't wrestle with the cops. He just happened to comment that he could kill them with his sniper rifle. And the last thing that points to his hormonal balance being completely messed up was his level of emotion, his radical mood swings, right? He was so moody. Man, When you're a man and you're acting like a woman that's on the rag, do you think something is wrong? Look, his hormones were all messed up. His fat was producing so much estrogen it canceled out his testosterone, and this led him to compensation behaviors. If you piss off a real man in the real world, he might shove you, he might punch you in the face. But this guy was so out of shape, he was no longer a man of action, so he was just playing dress up and barking loudly on Facebook. So what finally happened is that about 5 or 6 weeks ago, as I'm narrating this, the FBI showed up to charge him with 3 different counts that included like making interstate threats and things like that. And they say that he pointed a gun at them, and so they shot him, and he is dead. We could sum up the pattern of this guy as he has no control. He just has no self-control. So we got a guy with no self-control, no impulse control, running around with a bunch of guns. Now, do I think he should have been banned from owning guns? No, I don't. I don't believe in restrictions on firearms. All right, I'm sure the Europeans out there will hate me for saying that. I don't believe he should have been banned from guns. But I do know if we're going to have a society with a whole bunch of guns around and people start acting crazy, guys like him can easily end up dead. Because when the bullets fly, they're not going to play. The cops aren't going to play with you. They want to go home. They don't give a fuck if you do. If it's you or them, it's you. This guy was reported to be religious. Listen, ask yourself this question. Do you really think this guy was talking to God? I have no doubt that he had voices in his head. But you can just tell by his fruits that certainly wasn't God. It wasn't Jesus, okay? How do I know? Well, Jesus doesn't tell you, you know what you need to do? You need to eat junk food until you're almost 400 pounds, and then you need to go on Facebook and threaten people. Yeah, that doesn't sound like something Jesus would say. So when you have a stupid, crazy person, a total wingnut, they always want to feel that they're right, so they just convince themselves that the voices in their head, oh, that must be God. I'm always right. God told me to do this. Another interesting fact I found out, this guy was a woodworker as a hobby, and he actually started a company, something like Custom Woods, in 2020. It didn't surprise me at all when I heard that this wingnut was into woodwork, because I do a little whittling myself, and the only people that have ever harassed me or hated on me for showing woodwork on my channel have been other woodworkers who considered themselves to be experts. I got a troll comment just the other day from some idiot that had been carving spoons for the last 50 years and was somehow offended by how I do my woodwork. It didn't surprise me at all. I've encountered guys just like that were pissed at me because we disagreed about Swiss Army knives. Now, a lot of people will see this in a simplistic way. They think this is a case of gun owners versus the FBI. I'm sorry to say this, but this guy was a detriment to gun owners. He made us look horrible, and he did nothing but endanger your rights, okay? So I don't see it that way. Also, because this was a Trump supporter, a lot of people see it as Trump versus the current president. Look, I see this situation as bad people doing bad things to another bad person. Well, it's on to the next life for him, and he better hope it's the Buddhist afterlife, because in the Buddhist hells you get out after a certain period of time, I have heard. Christian heaven ain't full of gluttons, even though you wish it were. But yeah, this guy who got killed, I gotta say, I've encountered thousands of people that were just like this guy, right? Angry old guys that are antisocial and have no filter. I get comments from them every day. Religious nutbags that, they leave a bitchy comment. I go to their page and I see they have a bunch of scriptures on a playlist. And right next to the scriptures playlist is a bunch of bikini girls on a different playlist, which is obviously their sinful playlist that they don't realize is public because these old guys don't understand how to use the social media. And just the 400-pound self-defense experts, this guy was every meme, every single ridiculous meme combined in real life. In many ways, you get what you fucking deserve. Now, I'm not necessarily saying that he deserved the death penalty when they were just serving him with 3 charges, right? He deserved a trial, but at the same time, it's kind of like he poked a bear with a stick. If you poke a bear with a stick, it doesn't matter what your intentions were. You leave the realm of what should happen, what you deserve, and you enter the realm of what's definitely going to happen. So once he poked that bear with his stick, the outcome was inevitable.